So there was an attack. As far as we know, they're considering it a terrorist attack in London, but we haven't yet found out exactly the perpetrator behind it, at least as of this recording. I'm sure if you are watching it live, rather, if you're watching this tomorrow morning, the news could have changed. But as we speak right now, we do not know who is responsible for killing 5 people and injuring 40 people using a vehicle and then a subsequent knife attack near British Parliament, according to the Washington Post. So the suspect plowed a SUV through pedestrians on Westminster Bridge, and then he fatally stabbed a police officer at the gates of London's Parliament. The attacker himself was shot and killed by the police, but the total attack left 5 people dead, including the assailant. 40 people were injured with the vehicle as he plowed through. British Prime Minister Theresa May said, quote, "The location of this attack was no accident. The terrorists chose to strike at the heart of our capital city, where people of all nationalities, religions, and cultures come together to celebrate the values of liberty, democracy, and the freedom of speech." And she went on to say, quote, "Any attempt to defeat those values through violence and terror is doomed to failure." And she said, "Tomorrow morning, Parliament will meet as normal." What's interesting about this tragedy is, well, actually 2 things. One, it is actually 1 year to the date after the terrorist attack in Brussels, Brussels, Belgium, which killed 40 people. And it seems almost too coincidental. But we don't know who perpetrated this. But as per usual, people are quick to politicize it without even knowing who it actually was. The New York Post actually put out a couple of tweets, and we'll put them on your screen, accusing, here it is, you see it on your screen. The New York Post earlier today said, "Breaking: the terrorist behind the London rampage was identified as Abu Zadine, a radical Muslim cleric." This couldn't really possibly be the case because Abu is I'm sorry, his last name. He's actually in prison, according to a subsequent tweet that came out from Rim Mumtaz. She said, "Trevor Brooks, also known as Abu Izzadeen, solicitor, confirms to me that he is still in jail and could not have possibly been the attacker today at Westminster." And then, of course, the New York Post subsequently came back and issued a correction on your screen. "A radical Muslim cleric was erroneously named as the London attacker in local reports." So as per usual, there's quick politicization and a quick pointing of the finger in order to try to make sure that it's the other person's side, if there is such a thing in this type of tragedy, that's responsible for this tragedy. What's interesting is that there has not yet been anyone identified. And again, if you're watching this live on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is the case. If you're watching this anytime other than that, we may very well know who the perpetrator, the terrorist, is. What I do know is we have a very quick propensity to identify the person, the individual, if it is someone of Arab descent with a Muslim sounding name, or if they are actually Muslim. We do have the propensity, or the tendency is actually the word I'm looking for. We have the tendency in Western civilization, in the West, to actually identify them very quickly if it conforms to this notion of terrorism that we have. So I'll be very interested in seeing who the perpetrator actually is. Regardless of who they are, 40 people have been injured, 5 people have been killed, including the terrorist himself. All right. So we'll keep you updated on that.